there, Dr. Sheep here. Welcome back to another Minecraft Let's Play, episode 14. Wow, this series is progressing very slowly. And hold on, let me get a drink. It's been probably 2 minutes since the last episode. 2 or 3 anyways. It's 8:09, so just keeping track of the time. So obviously I know when I hit 40 minutes, so. Anyways, today, like I said, we are building, like I said in the previous episode, we are building a bridge. So, oh, I didn't need to buy a, I'm an idiot. I didn't need to buy a shovel. I have plenty of shovels. Okay, so for the bridge, I probably should have done this off camera. We're going to need a bed because once we get far enough away from home, it's going to be advantageous to run back. Obviously, this bridge is going to take me a long time. I'll try my best to get as much of it done in this episode as possible, but obviously I have time constraints. Well, maybe not tonight so much. Not time constraints, just I just don't want to. I don't want to build a damn bridge tonight. Maybe some other night. But tonight, I don't want to spend all this time building a freaking bridge. Okay. What do I need? What do I need? What do we need? What do we need? What do you need? What do we need? What do we need? Vacation there. Let's get a bucket of water, because we're going to need that. In case we fall off. Food, we're just placing blocks. Obviously, we can get more food when we come back. So, let's white wool, granite. Put that away. The coal can go away. I don't need it for the time being. I'm probably going to need more torches. Actually, I'm definitely going to need more torches. I don't know where all my torches have gone, so we'll make a assortment of those. Please pick that up. Thank you. Should make. Wow, that math was done all in my head, and I nailed it. Okay. Okay. Shoot. Oh wait, do we have? I guess we have these planks that'll work. 1, 2, 3. And now we make a bed. Okay. I don't really need the pickaxe, but whatever. Alright. A bunch of dirt. Let's walk over to here. Where our let's begin, shall we? Alright, so how was my week? Since I guess this is basically the end of the week, and I'm sure I'll share some more stuff on the podcast. Actually, exciting thing about the podcast, it's not up yet, but I talked to Buck, and I think we're gonna get him on the podcast. I'm pretty sure. It's I told him Saturday at 5. He's down. He says that'll work. I'm like, all right. So I think we are set to have Buck on the podcast again. That'll be his 3rd time. And something I wanted to discuss with Buck is a collab. But see. This person I've been taking advice from about this whole social media thing, which is what YouTube is essentially. It's just social media. She was like, if you're gonna do collabs, you have to ask them. You have to be able. You have to collab with people who are the same size as you. Oh, I just hit the microphone. Hope I didn't screw that up. You have to collab with people that are relatively the same size as you, so that it's mutually beneficial for both of you. Because me working with Buck in a video on his channel is clearly not beneficial to him in any way. It's just me mooching off of his content, which I guess is kind of the point, but I don't want to come off that way. But at the same time, I'm out of ideas. You know, I hate that that's how that is. But I don't know. Maybe now that I'm playing Farming Sim 19, maybe after a little while, like this winter or something, maybe I can convince him to let me join him for a collab or something, or we can do a Farming Sim whole Let's Play series together. Maybe. I have no idea. That would be a question for him. And maybe that's something we can discuss either on or after the podcast. I know the fourth segment of the podcast, I know for a fact already is going to be... discussing the future of Farming Sim. But in that third segment, after the comments, you know, it's like, hey, Buck, do you want to discuss a collab? Honestly, I can have him on my videos. That doesn't really help. Doesn't really help him. It kind of helps me. And obviously, if I was in his video, that doesn't help him, but it definitely helps me. So, I don't know. It's weird. I took a test today. That didn't go well. And I had a class, my morning class this week. I didn't have at all. We never had it. I guess I kind of had it. Okay, I didn't have it. And I speculated we weren't going to have it Thursday. And I was like, okay. I was like, okay, I'm pretty sure we don't have it Thursday. So I showed up Tuesday. But literally nobody showed up Tuesday. Like, nobody. As if everybody knew there wasn't class. And lo and behold, there wasn't class. I was like, Luckily, I have to be in that room anyways for a class I had 15 minutes after that one. So I just went to the back of the room, charged my laptop, and watched Moose LP 2006. But, actually, no, I watched Modern Marvels. And then I watched Moose. But... Hold on, sorry. I'm thinking. I was just like, why don't we have class today? And it was just like, I expected us to have class. And we just didn't. And then, so I was like, oh, well then maybe I was wrong about Thursday not having class. Then maybe we have class Thursday. So I didn't sleep in again, and I showed up for class today, Thursday. Lo and behold, there wasn't class. And he sent the email at a time that I was already going to be there because, well, because of what time I have to, because of how far I have to go and blah, 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 blah. I wasn't going to see. It's not like I can just wake up in the dorms and be ready in 5 minutes. That's not how that works. But that's essentially when he sent the email. So, and I never got the email. Actually, I don't think I've checked my email today since... actually, I don't think I've checked my email at all today, so I can't say that. Anyways, yeah, I took a test today, failed it, but I did the math, and I knew I was going to. There was an assignment. So here's some crazy stuff, right? So I had this assignment due Sunday, right? It was a group assignment for my developmental economics class, and I had done it several weeks. I did about 2 weeks before when it was due. And so my group was working on it Sunday. So before they even, I guess, actually even started discussing things because it was getting like midday Sunday and I had work, and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna put it up on a discussion board in Canvas and be like, here you go, guys, enjoy. Do with it as you please. And so they get it, and of course and that was it. And I left it. And they were discussing this stuff that night, and they're just like, Doc. They obviously didn't say Doc, but they were like, my name. And, like, how about we just submit yours? And I'm like, oh, alright. So we submitted mine, and we got 100. They didn't modify it at all. One of the members, she thought she modified it, but I was like, no, you didn't. I kind of came off that way. I didn't want to come off rude, but they didn't modify it. It was all my work. They didn't have any work involved at all. Actually, now that I have this road here, I didn't realize how close we are going to be to this village. Obviously, there's nothing really in that village that's useful anymore, except maybe some beds, but even beds aren't useful. I guess until I go mining for netherite, but we need to get diamond armor first, which it's gonna be on my to-do list for this week, is to get diamond armor, get all the supplies for the house, and so that I'm ready to do that. But whatever. Anyways, God, I'm saying a lot. I'm sorry, guys. it's hard to collect your thoughts. Which is weird because I was in speech, and so it wasn't in my wheelhouse. I never used it. But to be fair, giving a speech has a structure. This isn't a speech. This doesn't have any structure. This is just me talking. So, right. We got 100. And after class, I went and talked to the professor. Because, obviously, I got 100. I was like, oh, I gotta know why I got 100. So I went and looked. And so we went over the assignment that day. And I went through it with it. And I was going through it with him. And I was like, oh, yeah, this all makes sense. So I went and talked to him afterwards. And he's like, wait, you got 100? I'm like, yeah. He's like, well, you were the only one then in the entire class. I was like, you're serious? And he's like, yeah. And I turned around. There was nobody in the room. But I turned around. I was like, suck it. Everybody can suck it. I am superior. I got 100 solo. I didn't even need my damn group for this assignment. Which is funny because for the very next assignment, I didn't do anything. I didn't even do the assignment. I was saying I was going to do the short answers. I never did. Never touched it. My group members did everything. And I felt so bad about it. But I just wasn't motivated to do that assignment because I didn't know what I was going to do on it. I was like, there's nothing I know how to do on this, which is funny because I got 100 on the previous assignment, so you'd think, oh, I would be good and able to do the next one. No, not at all. That is simply not the case whatsoever. So, yeah. But anyways, I told them, I'm like, guys, I'm sorry, you should vote me off the island. There's not much I can do on this. They're like, one of the members, she was like, oh, you've been so open with us and communicating, and you got us to 100 on the assignment, so you're good to go. Don't worry about it. We won't give you 0 for participation, even though that's the participation I deserved. So I completely got away with not doing any work. Now, obviously, these next 2 assignments, I'm not going to try and do that. Obviously, the next one is another, what my professor calls observational assignments. And I'm quite good at observational assignments. That's the one I got 100 on. So, it's in my wheelhouse, and I can do quite well on it. Anyways, I wrote down some things I wanted to talk about for this week. So, right. So, one of the things, I watched a, Wisecrack video, and they were talking about can I say, I don't know if I can say this. Okay, they were talking about characters who are jerks, specifically Rick from Rick and Morty, Walter from Breaking Bad, and the Punisher from Punisher. and how society loves them. They absolutely love them. And how society likes them because they're going up against society, and people, I guess not society, but people like them because they're fighting the society, they're fighting the man, they're fighting the status quo. So I thought, well, you know who's a jerk character? Dr. Gregory House. Not maybe because he's not as prevalent as the other two. Maybe he's not. It doesn't make any sense for him to be in there. It doesn't make sense for them to include him. But then I thought about it. Well, maybe he just doesn't fit in there because he doesn't fit that narrative. He's not exactly fighting society. He's a drug addict, all right? Nowhere in society is that acceptable, all right? He doesn't have a villain, or they give him a villain. Sorry, not villain. Faith. He's not. Arguably, you could say there's faith, but most heroes know their fate. They're like, oh, their destiny's been foretold or whatever. Like Hercules has been foretold or whatever. And this was an old writing style. It's an old writing style from old Greek tragedies and stuff. And Romeo and Juliet. It's their destiny. It's in the stars or whatever. And so they're fighting fate. Well, they always ultimately end up losing because, well, you can't fight fate. You can't beat fate. Fate is fate. That's why it's called fate. Anyways, right. So I thought about, like, okay, House doesn't know his fate. To be fair, when the series starts, it's just character development. You're just developing these characters. You're going to see where is House going to end up. And as you realize, they're like, oh, House is probably going to end up in prison. This guy is actively and openly doing drugs in a hospital. He's doing very sketchy things with patients that are very unethical in some aspects. And so you're like, okay. So maybe you could argue in that context, maybe yes, Greg is fighting fate, and ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, that is the exact reason right there. What? How did shift? What? Okay. Huh. This is kind of irritating. Okay. We're gonna have to bring a boat with me, because this is frustrating. Let's swim, I guess. So, right, so Greg isn't fighting, you could say he's fighting fate, but it's not like he's trying to turn around his life or anything. I guess he tries a few times, but it's always for personal gain. Oh, polar bears, run, avoid the polar bears, So, but he's always doing things for selfish reasons, so it's not exactly like he's nobly. I guess when superheroes fight their fate, but he's not actively trying to do it. He's not actively trying to come clean. He rarely, if ever, tries to come clean. It's always for a very selfish reason. Most of the time. Or I guess maybe that is fighting fate. Maybe he is a Greek hero. I wouldn't really call him a hero though, because he's just a drug addict. I don't know. Let me know what you think. If you've ever watched House MD, where does House fall? Is he fighting society, or is he fighting fate? I really don't think he's fighting society, but if he's fighting fate, is he that self-aware? Is he self-aware at all? I don't know. Leave a comment. Let me know. Anyways, so I just thought about that. How is Greg House different? I'm just clicking random buttons. Come on, get to the sword. Thank you. Right. So topic number 2. Boomers. I just wrote boomers. It was from another Wisecrack. Something about how boomers are raising children, blah, blah, blah. I was in a wisecrack mood. Um, I don't know. I'm really not sure where I was going with that. Like, I wish I would written more. So, I guess if we're going to talk about boomers, let's actually talk about boomers. Boomers gave rise to millennials. And millennials are very... At least I have this view anyways, of follow your dreams. And they have this idea of following your dreams because boomers, they could follow their dreams. The economy was doing so well when they were born that following your dreams was alright. You could do that and it would work. And so, when they have had children, they're like, I always told the children, yeah, follow your dreams, don't follow the money. Well, you had these now, and then the recession hit. So then now you have millennials who graduate college and high school and college, smack dab in the worst recession in the history of America since the worst recession since the Great Depression. And so now you have these millennials who got these jobs to follow their dreams. Their dream jobs, you say. But dream jobs don't pay. Typically, anyways. They typically do not pay. That is like, if there's anything you should take away from this, dream jobs do not pay. Never really have, never really will. They don't. That's just not something they do. And so, since dream jobs don't pay, you're in a recession. They're screwed. They have to work other jobs like McDonald's, which I know everybody hates a McDonald's or Walmart or whatever. And yes, it can be prestigious or whatever to work there in some aspects, and at least they have a job and they're doing a job that most people wouldn't want to do. It's noble, blah 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 blah. But compared to like stockbroker or firefighter, haven't been, or police officer, it's kind of not that important. it's a little lower down the totem pole there. Anyway, I guess those are service heroes, so I guess whatever. Anyways, so Gen Z they were born from Xers. Xers grew up in a little bit worse economic difficulty, the 70s, and so their children, us Gen Z, have been told don't follow your dreams. Make sure you have a plan. Don't just go by the seat of your pants. Even though I know a lot of college students that still do fly by the seat of their pants. Actually, I know a lot of people that fly by the seat of their pants. Phil kind of does do that, just because apparently he gets anxiety about planning 2 days ahead. But that's a whole different topic for another day about why I don't believe that. But again, he's also millennial, so what should I expect, right? Should I expect anything less? No, not at all. That just sounds like a really condescending Gen Zer thing to say, but so and they also talked about the movie and the video, why boomers are just universally hated. They were hated when they were children because, well, they were freaking children. They were rowdy. There were a lot of them. They just had these ideas that were just different than what was going on. When they were college students, it was the 60s. They were protesting the war, and so that kind of pissed off a lot of the people higher up. They're like, you ungrateful brats. And actually, somebody was talking about, in the video they talked about how the boomers heroes, like cultural heroes, the cultural icons, the ones that, oh boy, my pinky's gonna cramp up. The ones they believed in weren't, and like symbols of their generation weren't actually from their generation. They were the forgotten generation, the silent generation. Silent generation. Those are the ones those are the ones born during World War II, and the time period before, and were too young to go to World War II. That generation. Because obviously the Greatest Generation was the one that went and fought and grew up during the Great Depression, that had to go to war, had to go fight in World War One, World War Two, lived through the Great Depression. That's why they're called the Greatest Generation. They went through a tough time in America. So obviously when they're children, when not their children, but when these children are just protesting what the status quo is and disagreeing with what you're doing and what you've set up, obviously that really ticks you off. And so they, at the time, the institutions, did not like the boomers. And now nobody likes the boomers because they became sellouts, because they realized at some point that money is important, which I guess kind of, it's weird how they did eventually just become corporate sellouts and went and got high-paying jobs, even though they taught this idea of follow your dreams, don't follow the money, but they follow the money anyways. And so I guess millennials spite them for that, and Gen Z hates the boomers because they destroyed the environment in this pursuit of money. So that's the problem. There you go. There's the problem. Why is that not loading in down there? That must be a cave or something. I wonder how many blocks we've gone. I really don't have a measure for that. So yeah, that was boomers. I guess I got a little bit more out of there than I thought. I keep saying that word. It's going to drive me insane. So, Shrek 2. Fairy Godmother is a drug lord. Plain and simple. Leave a comment. What do you think? Is the Fairy Godmother a drug lord? I think she is. Think about it. Think of the kingdom as far, far away as Mexico or Colombia or Venezuela. Any country where the cartel is trying to take it over. And Fairy Godmother is El Chapo. She's trying to move product. And so she has to get close to the government so the government can help move product. Or she and her descendants, Prince Charming, can get into the system and obviously stay in power. So she has more power. And then say if Far, Far Away ever gets into war, her product will be used in the war, and her product will also then be sold to the new conquered kingdom, provided that with the magical edge that she gives them, it works. Now, obviously, a drug lord doesn't sell drugs, but maybe she's more akin to, doesn't sell drugs to the government, but maybe she's more akin to the U.S. military-industrial complex, trying to get into the pants of the president. So, I don't know. That's an interesting concept. Is she the military-industrial complex? Not really. She's the magical industrial complex. And maybe she's trying to get Far, Far Away to use her products, so she's going to, wants to become king, so that she can sell her products more effectively and can have a better monopoly, so she can crush out any competition, even though it kind of seems she's the #1 supplier in Far, Far Away, and what I can only assume in the surrounding kingdoms as well, because Far, Far Away and Farquaad were the only two kingdoms we ever see, and Farquaad's ultimately collapsed after the death of Farquaad because he got eaten by a dragon. Hold on. Hey, look, a face and a polar bear. Actually, well, let's get a screenshot of that. Yeah, that's a good thumbnail. Building a road to nowhere. Obviously, we're building it to somewhere, and that is to the original base. If that's not clear, I guess if you're just joining the series. Speaking of, if you're just joining the series, you guys, you should subscribe to my channel. And then also go subscribe to my roommate Rondo and my other roommate Tex, whose channel is the Foosballer. And Rondo's channel is EB Rondo. So they do gameplay. They're not sciencey like I am. But if you like Mandalorian or Game of Thrones, you should definitely check out EB Rondo. That's especially, and if you like funny rages, check out the Foosballer. Tex is very ragey. And in the last episode, I made a whole commentary on what raging actually is, so make sure you watch that to know my opinion on what it means if you rage and how it's a double standard. Anyways, back to the Fairy Godmother. I was kind of a tangent. So I guess I put on just a drug dealer, but maybe in some aspects she is. I think the military and the magic industrial complex is a much better example. Because obviously, I mean, I guess if she takes over the kingdom and Princess Charming becomes king, she can move her product easier. But obviously, if it's illegal, she wouldn't. But since she's very open about what she's doing, clearly what she's doing isn't illegal. Otherwise, she wouldn't be able to get anywhere near the king, unless again, unless she already has that kind of power. But considering her product is literally advertised on billboards, she's definitely more akin to like a military industrial complex. And instead, she's the magical industrial complex. And so maybe she wants her products to be used by the knights, or to be used wants to be used by the knights, or she needs the king to further press her ideas, or to release more edgy potions that cut close to the profit margins, so she has like higher profit margins because she has control of the kingdom in a way. That's it. That's an idea. It's possible. Multiple reasons why she would want the crown. I don't think they ever really fully outline her reason for wanting to get Charming the crown, other than power. But why do you want the power? You're the richest person far away that's not the king. I guess maybe you just want to be the king then at that point. But why? But yeah, if you have all this power, especially it's magic, which is arguably better than knights, and you have an entire workforce that looks like a bunch of dwarfs that you really don't see anywhere else other than in your factory, kind of like Oompa Loompas, it's easy. It could be assumed that you don't even need any of that other junk. You already have an army, and so you just give them magic potions, make them strong, fast, invisible, whatever kind of stuff your potions can do. And then also maybe ones like in Minecraft that you throw them at people, they melt their faces off. Obviously, that's not what happens in Minecraft. There's potions of harming, but people don't have hit points, so I don't know. But maybe I guess I don't know why. Why does the Fairy Godmother want the crown? Maybe there's some Shrek lore that I'm just not aware of. Leave a comment on whether you know if there's any Shrek lore that I'm just missing. So we are about 10 minutes left of this episode. We have quite a few stacks. Oops, that's not the one. F3. Where'th arth weeth? Oh my gosh, we've gone 1,000 blocks. Holy cow. We've actually gone 1,000 blocks. Wow, that's genuinely impressive. Okay. So, we've made a lot of progress. This actually isn't going to take as long as I thought. It's still taking me like 50 minutes. But part of that, I ended up having to restart. Which actually, the restarting was actually a good thing, because it allowed me to get more blocks. So, we're crossing this forest here, and my brain's like, oh my god, we're that close to home. No, I'm pretty sure we're gonna have to cross another ocean. And I hate crossing oceans, so... I like them better than crossing land, in a way. And to be fair, I kind of have to do this twice. The second time to make it... I actually have to do this twice. The second time will be making it wider and adding, like, guardrails, which will take a very long time. And I will probably attempt to do it off camera. But I might end up having to do it in the next episode. So, next episode, we'll probably be continuing this bridge. Either A, doing this, what I'm doing right now, or B, I've finished this and I'm adding the sides. Making it more of a better highway so that I can take my horse down. I want to sign off. We're not ready for that. So, last 5 minutes. What do I want to discuss? Cave update. I guess I'm not really going to discuss the cave update too much on the podcast because we are going to be focusing on Farming Simulator. So, cave update. Have you seen the new things? And Toy Cat was making, he's not happy with the eyeglass because it doesn't increase your render distance or whatever. And so it's like, what use does this apply? I'm like, Toy Cat, it's not meant to. He's like, oh, it's a bad Optifine. I'm like, yes, Toy Cat, but it's an in-game Optifine type deal. And it's still useful. Trust me. Now, yes, it's not useful in the fact that if it doesn't load in animals, it's kind of pointless. Like in Ark. Well, I guess in Ark, the Spyglass lets you view levels of dinosaurs and stuff. And so you can be like, oh, I don't want to tame that T-Rex. Or, oh, that's a really high level T-Rex. My T-Rex won't be able to take it out. Oh, that's a really, really high level alpha. Let's avoid that. You know? In Ark, it's useful in that sense, because you can't read those from so far away. Minecraft, there's no reason for it. I could see it being useful against other players. Maybe you could be like, oh, what's that player over there? Oh, that's Phil, or that's Will, or that's Kyle. You know, whoever. And then you're just like, okay, now I know. Cool. And I thought it would be made of copper and glass. But they've balanced it. But they've done a balancing thing where it's made of amethyst. But if you're gonna balance it with amethyst, which is arguably going to be rare and hard to find, it has to have a better feature. Which right now it's like, why would I do this? Yes, it requires an ore that should be more common than iron, but you've also made it require amethyst, which is much more difficult to find. Presumably, it's going to be more difficult to find than diamonds. I have no idea. So, why? There's gotta be more uses for it, and we'll just have to wait and see. Other cave updatey things. Updates. They gave us some new blocks. Oh, the lightning rod. Oh, okay. So it was. Hold on. These new features were all kind of centered around amethyst, other than the lightning rod, which was centered around copper, which is centered around amethyst for the spyglass. And I guess they also released bundles, so people can experiment with those. But they released tinted glass, which is very interesting. So, tinted glass is transparent. You can look through it, but it doesn't let light through, which I thought was the coolest thing. It's not too useful. Sorry, I gotta let my hand take a break. In my opinion, it's not too useful to me anymore. But I knew, like, back in the day, that would be very, very useful. And I know it's very useful for, like, showing off your mob farm or something. Specifically, your, like, if you have a mob spawner, like a skeleton spawner, a zombie spawner, or a spider spawner, it helps show that off. In that case, yes, that's very cool because it doesn't let the light from all your torches through, and therefore you don't have to have a part of your room that's just dangerous. There's a bee down there. I think he went to his hive, or he... Oh, there he is. He went underneath the trees. So, I thought that was really cool. It doesn't have a lot of uses right now. I'm sure somebody will come up with something. But I'm excited. That was really exciting. I feel like a younger version of me, like freshman of high school me, would have been like, oh my god, yes, I have this exact specific situation I want to use it in. I want to terraform this whole place, but I don't want to get rid of this mob spawner. Because I used to play what I called OP survival. So you would turn up the spawn rates of diamonds, lapis, redstone, iron, gold, and you could just literally find it everywhere. And I'd also turn up the spawn rates of mob spawners, and so you'd find them on the surface quite often. And well, that'd be super cool. I could turn an area flat, and then in the middle I could have this mob spawner I can show off, and this glass cage. Now obviously it's black. It's not exactly the most colorful thing in the world, which is expected. It's tinted glass. Okay. Well, that has been... Oh, wait. No, we have to go to 9, don't we? Because we started at... No! Shoot. Well, that could have killed me. I should have used the water bucket. I am an idiot. Okay. Where exactly are we? Hold on. F3. We are about 1,000 blocks away from where we need to be. That's awesome. That's really cool. So probably, whatever 1,000 divided by 64 is. So I gotta make the long trek back home, which is going to take quite some time. It's going to take quite a bit of time, but that's fine. Hold on, where? I gotta figure out where I dropped. Alright, let's pile on up here. This is gotta be way more, because 11 should kill me. So, I guess 23 would kill me. 22 would leave me at half a heart, which is what that did. So, we're okay, and I just transformed one too many. So now, I have the precarious job of running pack. 40 minutes, that's a good length, I think. Do I want to go 50? Maybe. I keep saying and I'm self-aware of it now today, which is very irritating. I'm gonna try my best to stop saying it, but it's difficult. It's very difficult. So, oh boy, we made an actually large amount of progress. There's still 1,000 blocks left to go. But hey, we didn't do a half bad job, so give ourselves a pat on the back there. Wow, this is burning a lot of food. Oh boy. We'll have enough food to make it back. I mean, there's the first mountain range. It's crazy because my render distance is so far. Like, I'm so used to playing on Xbox, and I'm so used to playing Xbox and Switch where the render distances are very small. Like, especially on the Switch, it's extremely small, and even compared to the Xbox, well, this is crazy compared to either one. And so I'm just having to get used to, like, to get to something at the edge of the render distance, I have to run a long, long, long way. So yeah, it takes some time. I would jump sprint, but I'm too nervous to do that. It's too dangerous. Actually, you know what? Tell you what. It's F3, F1, F5, F5. Let's call it here. Anyways, here I am on this very long bridge. I would like to thank you all for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. New Let's Plays every Monday, Wednesday, 11 a.m. Central Time. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and check out Rondo and the Foosballer. And good night. Hello there. Actually, it's more of a goodbye. This is my Minecraft outro. Anyways, make sure you subscribe so that we can hit our 10K goal, so we can plant 100 trees for subs for trees. Otherwise, stick around for the next 20 seconds to give me that sweet, sweet watch time.